Where's home? If you ask me, why did I move to Japan? My answer would be, I moved because I won't be called a refugee here. And that's actually true. I don't have a refugee status here. I'm a student, like everyone around me. No one calls me a refugee. After 12 years of war, displacement, and refuge, I am finally at a place where I'm just a foreigner. I am normal. No one calls me a refugee, but I found myself calling myself a refugee. The word refugee is not an identity, but I found it to be the word that holds everything I've been through the past 12 years. It represents my story. So let me introduce myself. My name is Sara, and I'm 26 years old Syrian refugee. Today, I'll be taking you on a journey to find home. Let's start by closing our eyes and bringing back a memory. You had a very long day. You are out in the streets, exhausted, no more energy. You are walking or on a bus, train, car. You are going back home. Now, the moment you heard the word home, can you feel the comfort, safety, the feeling of ease? Finally, my safe space. Home, sweet home. I can't remember the last time I felt like this, but I can say it was at least 12 years ago, before the time I looked back at my home and said goodbye, knowing that I will never see it again. It wasn't actually a look. It was a glance from the back window of our car when my father was in a rush, making sure we're all inside the car with the sound of bombing coming every few minutes. When my journey of finding home started. Yes, my journey of finding home started by saying goodbye to home. The first thing I learned on my journey is home is wherever my loved ones are. We moved a couple of times in Syria, but I didn't actually care because I was with my family. With time passing by, safe area no longer existed. We found ourselves saying goodbye to each other every night instead of saying good night, because we never knew if we will wake up the next day or we will be buried under the rubble of a bombed building. We found ourselves saying goodbye to each other, to everyone around us who were leaving Syria, because staying means death or danger. One of them was my older brother, one of the closest people to my heart. He had to leave us, leave home, because he was in danger of forcibly going to military, the military that was bombing our homes and killing our families. My brother, in order to save my brother's life and innocent people's life, we had to send him through a death route. Smugglers who put him on a death boat crossing the sea to Europe. My brother faced death twice on his journey. Their rubber boat got shot twice by coast guards, and they were left there for hours, drowning, begging coast guards to save their lives. Now, how would you feel if you had a gun pointed at your head in the middle of the sea, in the middle of the night, got your rubber boat ripped by coast guards and the motor thrown away in the water, and being left there with elderly, women, children, crying because it's too cold and it's too dark, waiting for either death or a miracle to save your life? I remember When we lost contact with my brother, we were watching the news all day, wondering if a drowned boat with tens of dead people would appear on the news. When my brother finally contacted us, I immediately questioned our decision. How could we send him to face death? But my brother's answer was, we were facing it anyway. Now, excuse me for mentioning death a lot here, but that was all what we could think about at that time. That was a major event that made me wonder if my home is getting scattered. My family is no longer together. Sometimes, we didn't even have the chance to say goodbye to our loved ones. Many of them suddenly disappear. And by disappearing suddenly, I mean getting detained by the Syrian regime. Please don't misunderstand me. They weren't criminals. They just once went to the streets and called for freedom and democracy. But obviously, that scared the Syrian regime. They had to make sure that they erase anyone who would ever stand against them. Erase us all. Luckily, we were waking up safe every day with the goal of helping those who weren't lucky by giving displaced people food, clothes, or anything we could share, which actually led my family to flee the country, because helping refugees was also considered a crime for the Syrian regime. Refugees who lost everything and everyone were considered terrorists whom we should never help. We fled, we officially became refugees, and our endless journey started. No actual destination. Safety was our destination. I have two feelings that I will never forget. I can still feel the same heartbeats when I think about them. The first one is when I chanted freedom for the first time in my life in my first protest in Syria. Freedom, freedom. In Arabic, it's حرية. I remember holding my mother's hand, and both of us were shaking, but our hearts were fearless. The second feeling is when my airplane to Turkey took off. I remember, as we were getting higher, I felt my soul getting dragged down as if it was leaving my body, because it belongs to my country. It belongs to Syria. It doesn't belong to me. We never wanted to leave. No Syrian wanted to leave. Syria meant everything to us. We wanted to stay, fight for our olive trees, our jasmine, our dignity. They took away our land, but we kept searching for each other. I became part of the Syrian community in Turkey, and I realized that I'm lucky. I'm lucky because I came on an airplane, not through smugglers. I'm lucky because I still have my family. None of them got killed, buried under the rubble, or tortured to death. I was hearing stories from Syrians around me that made me wonder, how could they ever forgive me because I survived? I forgot everything I've been through. Displacement, fear of bombings and airstrikes, I felt like it was nothing compared to the pain they've been through, which also made me wonder, am I the best person to be doing this talk here? There are people who suffered more, people who lost everything, people who faced death more. But I found myself to be responsible because I was given the chance to be their voice and deliver their message of resistance, survival, and death. I heard from a former Syrian detainee that in prison, they avoid talking about two things: home and family. He said that once they start thinking about those, they start feeling homesick and wanting to leave. But since there was no way out, they tried to forget about them and focus on surviving another day. That was the strategy for Syrian refugees too. Because once we think about home, our lives fall in front of our eyes. We start realizing that no matter how hard we try, nothing feels like home. We decorate our apartments abroad. We try to settle down, but we never get the same feeling again. If you met any Syrian refugee and asked them, what is one thing at your house that makes you feel like it's home? It will be something related to Syria. Like a flag, a painting of Syrian jasmine, a plant. For me, when we left our home for the first time in Syria, we only took what was necessary because we were in a hurry and we thought that we will come back soon. So my mom asked me to take one thing, and I chose to take this diary. Now the funny thing is, I don't even have the key. I forgot it there. But I still carry it around wherever I go because it reminds me of home. The last time I wrote anything on this diary was at that home. This diary doesn't have war memories. The last time I wrote anything on this diary, I was 15. I was normal. I wasn't a refugee. Even though I cannot read what's inside, but I can feel it. It brings back the 15-year-old Sara, who once had a dream of going to university with her best friends, who wanted to get married near her parents' house because she cannot tolerate staying far away from them. Sara, who once promised her younger sister that she will forever be by her side and never leave her hand. Sara, who was the best buddy to her two brothers. Sara is now in front of you all, far away from everyone she loves. She had to leave in order to get rid of her refugee status, to get a chance of studying at university. I was lucky again because I could leave, and again, I carried the guilt with me. How could they ever forgive me because I survived again? I had to leave people behind me, those who are called Syrian refugees, struggling every day to enter university, get a job, live in a normal apartment, outside tents. It hurts me to see Syrian refugees in different parts of the world, stuck in the same situation I had, facing all kinds of racism, just because they are labeled as refugees. Now, have you ever wondered, what does it mean to be labeled as refugee? For me, it means that my application for entering university will be thrown at my face once they read that I'm Syrian. It means that I had to see my 11-year-old brother coming back from school with scars covering his body after being threatened with a knife because he is a Syrian child. It means that people would spit on us on our way to work. It means that politicians will use us as toys to get votes and threaten us every single day that they will send us back to the criminal who killed our families and bombed our homes in Syria. But at the same time, it makes me feel so proud to see Syrian refugees proving to the world that nothing can stop our will to resist, survive, and succeed. Along with our painful stories comes our stories of success. Nothing stops us from working towards a brighter future. We knew the moment we became refugees that we lost home. The meaning behind it, the feeling, the warmth, the gathering. But we still have our memories. The memories that are the flame of our strength to keep fighting until we get back home. Maybe not us, maybe our children. We will build Syria again. Finally, if you ask me, where do you see yourself in the future? I cannot imagine myself anywhere other than under the jasmine tree at my home garden in Syria. I wanted to take you on a journey to find home. But I know my home. I know where it is. It will forever be there. I want to apologize. I couldn't take you there today, but at least you were with me on my journey. Thank you so much.